Hey, Metal Maniacs, this is Stone Martin of Malo to Dentro from Phoenix, and we would like to wish a happy 15th anniversary to Metal Messiah Radio. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Metal Maniacs, here we go. Please help me welcome to Metal Messiah Radio, hailing from Phoenix, Arizona, from melodic thrash metal band Malo Dentro, here to talk about the band's new offering, Follow Me, released January 13th, 2023. Joining us, we have founding member Brett McKinney on drums and vocalist and guitarist Stone Martin. Also in the band, there is bassist Cris Ridenour. And so thank you for joining us, both Brett and Stone. Thank you for this opportunity. My pleasure.
Yep, thanks, Dave.
Thank you. I've been digging the tunes, I've been checking out your album, and I'm looking forward to learning all that we can about Malo Dentro. And I see that the band formed in 2005 by founding drummer Brett McKinney. And I was reading on the Metal Archives that the band almost broke up because of the pandemic. So that was hard on you, I guess, and you're surviving that now, which is a good thing.
Yeah, we really had a lot of personal things going on when that went down, and we lost our lead guitarist at the time, who moved back from where he came from, and so it was one of those situations where we were just trying to kind of figure out what was happening. And then all of a sudden the pandemic hit and just kind of threw whatever plans we had to try and move on into the shitter. And so we kind of thought we were done, and then we started doing some things. Brett and I started doing some things online because obviously we were stuck in our own homes, and realized that was actually working pretty well, that we could continue to write and record that way. And we started just by doing some covers. We did an Alice in Chains cover, and we did a King's X cover that was actually Brett's project, and a couple of other things, and said, hey, you know what? I think we can keep doing this, at least keep writing and recording, even if we can't get together for practices or live shows or anything like that. So that's kind of where we headed with it.
I hear you. I understand that. Do you want to talk about the history of the band, when it started, as far as how long Brett's been in the band, how long you've been in the band, and Cris, and you had other members that decided not to come back? Is that what happened? You were a four piece at one time, right?
Yeah, Brett, maybe you want to field that one.
Yeah. So the band's been through a lot of different changes over the years, and originally the music we used to play was with the growly kind of vocals, and was down tuned and just a lot of heavy riffing. And we did that for a number of years, probably about 10 years, and we being mostly me, I guess, since I'm the only one left, decided to, make a change in a different direction and go a little more melodic and head with clean vocals. So, a lot of the original members were on board with that, but I think they had a change of heart at some point. And anyways, when we brought Stone on, Stone became the primary songwriter at that point, and we changed quite a bit different. With the harmonic vocals and melodic guitars. And so after working with Stone for quite a while, getting things together, we brought on Cris, and just kind of took it from there. And then, of course, you went over the pandemic and how that affected the band. And we keep writing and keep putting out music and make it work.
I hear you. And I have a question about your nickname. Malo Six Killer. How'd you get that nickname?
Well, the Malo part just comes from the band. Six Killer is a family name. My ancestry is Cherokee, and some of it, not a lot of it, but so my family name going back is Six Killer. And,
I see. I thought you were a Star Wars fan or something. I got you. And I looked into the definition of your name, actually, of the band name, and I see it's Spanish for bad from within. So I'm curious to know, did you select the band's name, Brett?
Yeah, kind of. With the original guitarist, we're trying to look for a name that would sound kind of metal, but would also kind of tie in with our Southwest roots here. So we wanted something that kind of stood out, and I think it does for sure. Not too many bands around here are using Spanish names. But it has a kind of that Southwest flair to it, I guess, and then it's just something that's unique. So that's why we went with it.
Oh, it's cool. And would you like to mention your previous offerings? I noticed that you have a couple of EPs and also a couple of full lengths. I've not checked them out yet, but you were telling me that this is a different style, more growlier type of vocal.
Yeah. So the first EP, which was called Rise of the Snake, it was like I had mentioned, more growl and stuff like that. The Evil Within full length album was just kind of continuing on that same thread. In fact, it included a lot of the same songs from the EP. And then after that, we played those songs for quite a while. And then, 2016, when we brought Stone in, we wrote a whole new group of songs, completely different, different vibe. And those are the songs that you hear on the From Darkened Skies album. And of course, then the Euthanasia EP followed up after that. And I think there was a bit of a transition from the Darkened Skies album and Euthanasia EP. You could hear the changes happening. And then I think, the progression continues with our latest album, Follow Me. The writing styles change. We evolve a little bit more, a little more refined.
Yeah, let's talk.
Still heavy, still fast. The guitars are still heavy. The drums are still pounding, but it's definitely got more melody, more vocal harmony and things like that. Kind of trying to sort of combine, I think, some of the old style and the new style in terms of, like, we still have some of the growly stuff, but it's in the minority now. It's used as a punctuation, not as the full sentence. And and then the guitars, I think it in the old material, it really has a lot of the guitar stuff is rhythm based, and this stuff is really more riff based, if that makes sense.
Sure.
I think the new album Follow Me is just loaded with riffs that I love, and I think overall, and I don't want to speak for Brett, but I feel like the more we write, the more we're writing and recording just stuff that I enjoy. It's not, I'm not writing for anyone else right now. I'm writing for me. And I enjoy listening to what I've been writing. I listen to it in the car all the time. So
I appreciate what you're saying and respect that as well. And I have to say, I'm impressed with your sound, and I enjoy melodic metals and melodic thrash metal. I find your album has great musicianship, so I'm happy to talk to you about Follow Me. And you were saying earlier, how did that all come to be?
So this album, Brett actually started stretching his wings a little bit in terms of writing lyrics. So I think 3 of the songs Brett wrote, probably 80% of the lyrics on those songs, and then I write. Since I'm the only guitar player in the band at this point, I write all the guitar parts and then kind of fit the lyrics into the guitar parts later. I know it sounds kind of backwards, because I know a lot of songwriters who come in with a fully formed song in their head, and I really kind of start from the other end. A lot of times I have a cool title in my head and then work everything from there. So at this stage, I write the guitar parts, get those kind of where I like them, at least on a high level, and then send that stuff to Brett. Brett lays down some drum tracks, and then we kind of go back and forth. We do all this stuff, through online, and he'll kind of give me different ideas as to where these can go, and then I go back and I write more guitar parts after that. We'll get Cris involved in putting some bass parts in, and sometimes I'll float some bass parts as well. And then really the lyrics and the vocals come last almost every time, and we kind of fit those in. When I'm singing the vocal parts, or I'm recording vocal parts, I'll have everything down, but then I may change some things on the fly. And really the harmonies and everything for the vocals they just kind of fit in wherever they fit in, I guess. I wish I had it all worked out in my head beforehand. I feel like it would be a little simpler, but instead it's a process, and it seems to work really well for us. And again, if the latest album is any indication of that, that's how that whole album was written.
Yeah, that seems to be the process for a lot of bands. The music comes first, the words come after, and as long as it works for you and you're happy with it, which it sounds like you are, then that's a great thing. And do you have your own studio, or what studio was Follow Me actually recorded in, and who was responsible for the production, the mixing, the mastering?
Really, Brett and I each have our own studio in our homes.
Not surprised.
And so Brett's in Phoenix, and in the middle of the pandemic, I moved to Houston.
Oh.
So we continued to write and record in that manner. And so Brett really kind of, he does all of his drums in his studio and sends that in my direction. And so we put everything on an online drive. And then I download the stuff into my, we use I use Cakewalk for recording software, and kind of can go in and edit and do all the things that I need to do there and record over the parts that he sent me. So once he gets me the drum parts that are kind of finalized, then I'll go back in and I don't mess with the drums too much. I rely on Brett to engineer that part and get it all mixed. And then I'll come in and lay everything else over the top of it. And for the album itself, I engineered all of the songs. I did all the mixing and mastering for that myself. And so, yeah, and like I said, we did everything kind of long distance when we could get Cris into, when we started, I was still in Phoenix. So we got some bass parts for him recorded in my studio and then some other ones in Brett's. And then we kind of got him with his own setup at home as well. So we just kind of lined into his computer and we add all the magic later,
Yeah, so you did it all yourself. That's great.
Yep.
Congratulations. How about the cover art? It's rather a dark imagery, kind of thrashy. I'd like to know more about it. Who designed it for you?
So the cover art comes from, there's a story to the album. I hope that comes across in the recording. But the story of the album is really about a guy who starts a cult and is a false prophet type of thing. You can kind of hear the rest of the story through the album. But so the cover art was Brett and I really spent a lot of time discussing ideas and what would look cool and I think the concept of the album cover was really Brett's mostly, and then we kind of I commissioned a young artist named Den Udy, is Den Udy Art, and he came in and kind of brought all that to life, and we refined as we went and kind of made a little changes along the way, but it's essentially Brett's concept for the art.
Very cool. And the band logo, what font is that you're using for that? Who decided to go with that?
Oh, what's the name of the font? I think it's Metal Macabre or something.
Metal Macabre. Okay. Yeah, it looks. I've seen it somewhere before. It looked familiar to me, but that's why I'm asking because.
Yeah, no, I altered it too, so it's not the straight font. Like I went into Illustrator and kind of switched it around a little bit. It was we just used the straight font for a while, and then I think when the Euthanasia EP came out, we went in and said, okay, we need to make it a little more our own. So it's just little subtle things to clean it up.
I got you. And is all your music self-released?
Yeah. Yep.
And is that working out good for you, or are you seeking out a label to get signed with?
We've had some interest from labels recently, especially through this album, and just there's some timing things that we're still trying to work out. So we are considering that as an option, but right now we in the past we've been content with what we've done. Most of our, I guess, fans are in the Phoenix area, so we would definitely like to expand that out beyond just the Southwest, but it happens over time. So, we're good with whatever happens next, I think.
Well, that's part of why we're here today, because we are worldwide and we hope that we get you more fans. That's
Absolutely.
Pretty much why we do the interviews, and also how we could get them to support Malo Dentro is by telling them the websites that they could check out to get the CDs, past CDs, the brand new Follow Me. And I just want to make sure it's available in digital download and in CD format. Is it available in vinyl as well?
No, we did not do any vinyl.
That's a very tedious task. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. And then Brett, maybe you can tell them where everything's available.
Yeah. So, best place to go is to hit our website, malodedentro.com. From there, we got links to everything. And especially, the best place to purchase the album for us is usually through Bandcamp, just so that we get, the most bang for the buck out of our sales. Yeah. But, it's available, on all your favorite streaming platforms. And just hit the website and follow the links at the top right, and you'll find it for sure.
I also want to give you your Facebook and Instagram. It's both the same, Malo Dentro. Very simple. So make sure you give a follow on Instagram and on Facebook to Malo Dentro. They deserve the support. And let's talk about what merch you have available. I did notice that you have the CDs, a bunch of T-shirts, sweatpants, stickers, patches. And what do you currently have available for your fans?
We have shirts with the euthanasia design on them. We'll be working on getting new shirts for the Follow Me release. We've got lots of stickers. We've got what else we got? We got lots of stickers and shirts.
And
of course,
we
have
also
lots of CDs from.
we have a it's basically a wristband. You get those rubber wristbands at shows or at different events, and they have the band logo on them, but they also have a USB drive. And so you can wear it and then pull it apart, and there's the USB drive, and it has our album on it. So we've got those as well.
That's a cool idea. Oh, nice. Thank you for letting us know a little about
they're
that.
Great for shows.
That's excellent. And let's give you a YouTube channel. I noticed there was a couple of lyric videos there for Follow Me, and it's Malo Dentro on the YouTube. And there I noticed Chokehold lyric video and the Follow Me Part 2 lyric video. Would you like to talk about the creation of the lyric videos and if you plan on making any future lyric or musical videos for Follow Me?
I think those lyric videos are, they serve a purpose, and the purpose is to, number one, get the songs out there. And for the lyric videos, we want everybody to be able to, I think the songs are pretty understandable anyway, but if there's any, I guess, confusion about that, so we get those out there. But, most of it's just about exposure in any format that we can, that we can avail ourselves of. So those are out there. There's a couple more. I think there is a lyric video there for part 1 there of Follow Me. Those are pretty simple videos. They're not anything crazy, but again, they serve the purpose. We did have some older videos out there too. We did one back in 2018 for a song called Without Warning. We did, and that's a live video. There's some other, clips of live performances. We had a glitch in our YouTube, about a year ago, I think, Brett, that dumped everything we had. And there was probably, I don't know, there was probably 50 videos on there. There was, Brett likes to do a lot of drum playthroughs. Yeah. We had a bunch of that stuff on there, and we lost all of it. So we're slowly building that. Yeah, so slowly building that back up.
Oh, how'd you lose it?
It's complicated.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Shit happens, right? Wow, that's
we're dumbasses, and it just happened.
Yeah, things like that happen.
Pretty much.
Yeah, sorry to hear that. And what can the fans expect from Malo Dentro next? I do notice, by the way, that you have had a bunch of past performances. And if you would like to talk about any of the highlights of your past performances, we'd love to hear it. And if you have any upcoming shows that you would like to spread the word on, if you do, we would love to hear that as well. So I'm not sure what you have lining up for you for the future.
I think we've done some pretty cool shows just since I've been with the band. I know Brett can talk about the things that happened before 2016. I know you guys played down. Was it in Tijuana, Brett? You guys played down there?
Yeah, we did a short tour and went down into Tijuana, which was a fantastic show. Which was a little nervous going down there, but once we got in there and got playing, it was great, and it was quite a blast. We've played quite a few shows around. We've gone to LA, Vegas, in New Mexico, but most of I think of the biggest stuff. The biggest thing I can think of for the band was playing at the Whiskey in LA, and that was with Stone with the new lineup, and that was fantastic. I mean, we were playing to a full crowd, just so much energy. It once in a lifetime type of thing.
Yeah, that was a packed Saturday night, and it was awesome.
So that was pre-COVID, I guess, right?
Yeah, 2018, I think.
Wow, yeah. It's a different world now, yeah.
We've also played a couple of the bigger shows in Phoenix. There's a large theater called the Marquee, which is, I'd guess, somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 people, something like that. And that's been a cool place to play as well. Just, opening for some nationals, that sort of thing. We opened for Death Angel a couple of years right before the pandemic.
Very nice.
And that was great.
Excellent. And do you have anything lining up for the future? Do you have any plans for future shows?
Well, as I mentioned, I'm in Houston, and Brett and Cris are in Phoenix, so that it makes things a little more complicated. Not impossible, but complicated.
Right.
So we did a show it was a little over a year ago in Phoenix, and then we really decided that because we didn't have a lead guitarist, and we brought someone in, basically a hired gun. It was a past member to do that show with us, and we did that, and we thought, well, it would really be great to just focus on the album for a while and just get that completed.
Right.
So now that the album is done, we are going to focus on getting at least a few shows set up here this year. And again, it just depends on travel and that sort of thing. So right now, we'd look at definitely a CD release type show in Phoenix at the biggest venue we can get. And then we'll probably do something in Houston later this year, and then anything in between that we can do on the way. So I think just looking at 2023, unless Brett can think of anything that I'm not, that's what I'm thinking.
Are you actively seeking a permanent guitarist to join the band for your live shows?
Yes, and we're just kind of doing it low key. We've been talking to a few people that we know.
That's good.
And for the time being, we do have a couple people who have said that they'd love to do a show or two with us. So I think that's probably the in for finding somebody who would be full time on the album. We have a guest guitarist on the song "Fall from Grace." His name's Conrad Varela, and he's a Phoenix guy, and he's pretty young. How old's Conrad, Brett? He's like 22, maybe something like that. And so the lead guitar on that song just absolutely rips. I consider myself to be an okay guitarist, and he puts me to shame. Absolutely, it would be incredible to get him into the band full time, but we'll see where that goes. If he hears this, he'll know what I'm thinking. So
yeah, I wish you luck with that. Yeah, this way you could just concentrate really on your singing and play a little rhythm guitar or whatever you need to do. But it's very difficult to be a lead singer and also do the guitar at the same time.
Yeah, I've been doing both since I've been in the band, but my hope is to really just concentrate on the vocals themselves from here on out. And I think that there's just more focus there, and there's a lot going on. And I know Brett's got a lot going on because he runs the lights, he runs everything electronic. That's any samples, anything that he's doing, all that stuff from the throne. So that's something that when you've got too many things going on, there's too many things that could happen. And I think we pride ourselves on a really tight live show, as well as we want it to really sound like what we've written. And so we don't veer away from that a lot. It's going to have a little rawer sound like everybody does, but we want it to emulate what we've recorded, as close as we can.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. And how about your gear? Would you like to talk about your gear? Talk about your drum kit? Talk about your guitars or mics or anything like that? Are you gearheads? You like to talk about your gear?
Brett, you just did a number on your drums, didn't you?
Yeah, so I play a PDP kit that I've had for, 15, 16 years. And it had a beautiful green to black fade finish on it, but I'd grown tired of that. So I stripped it down, took everything apart, sanded it all down, and refinished it in complete chrome. So now I got this massive drum kit with chrome racks, chrome drums and just chrome everywhere. You know, it looks crazy. It looks great under the lights. But yeah, it's just it's a standard double bass kit, 4 toms. Not a ton of cymbals. I'm not a big cymbal guy, but all Zildjian cymbals, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I use All Clair in-ears. I think Stone also uses the same brand. And then yeah, actually, and then beyond that, so as Stone had mentioned, I run all the lights. We have some lights we run, some tracks we run. I also sing backups while I'm playing drums as well. So I have a nice little rack system here, and it controls my triggers. So, for the kicks or maybe for the snare, there's a couple songs that have a unique snare sound. Everything runs through that. And then, yeah, it controls everything through Ableton Live. And it's quite the little bit of setup. And then, of course, it has the ability to do fog machines and display lyrics or videos or whatnot. Just kind of run from my little command center back here.
Outstanding.
And I'm running on live. I've got I got a 7-string Schecter guitar. Not anything fancy. Got a couple of backups that are there's 6 strings that are tuned down. And then I've got a EVH 5150 half stack that I run on stage. And like Brett said, I've got the All Clair in-ear monitors. But when we're recording, I actually don't use any of that stuff recording.
No?
Recording. Now I've got everything lined into my my audio interface, and then use either plugins, or I do have a I can't remember. It's the 11 rack. It's the same makers that make Pro Tools for recording, and Avid. I think it's an Avid 11 rack.
Yep.
That does a lot of the sound control for me in terms of like it has all the it's an amp simulator. Use that along with some plugins that I run. I've got a Gojira plugin for, and I'm trying to remember the maker of that one. That you can just run, after the fact, and it's you kind of weave all those together and get this amalgam. So that's what you're hearing on the album, is this interweaving of probably 3 to 5 different sounds at any given time. So, and then the 5150 is just a workhorse on stage. It's kind of standard for metal dudes at this stage, but I love it. So,
thank you for giving us all that detail. I appreciate that. And are you guys currently active in any other bands, or is all your focus on Malo Dentro?
Go ahead, Brett.
So, I'm in 3 other projects. 2 of them are just purely recording projects, so nothing much happens there until I record drums. The other band I'm in is called Empire Desire, another local Phoenix band, and we're pretty active. So I got shows coming up with them over the next couple months, but just staying busy.
It's a good thing. Yeah.
And Cris he's just joined another band called Bloodsaw. They're sort of a death metal band. They're in Phoenix, and I've been considering bands here in Houston just to have something to do, but haven't really found anybody. So I do an occasional fill-in show. There's another Phoenix band called Apex Nemesis that Brett and I were both part of at one time, at the same time as Malo Dentro. And I'll do a fill-in show for them now and then on bass when they travel. So I've got one of those coming up in April. But other than that, just kind of we're already starting to write music for the next album. So
that's great.
That's a never-ending kind of thing. I'll usually I'll sit down just to practice, and I'll start tuning, and then I will just play something off the top of my head to check the tuning, and then I'll get into it, and then a half an hour later realize, oh shit, I've got some new stuff here that I really like, and so then I'll sit down and record, and then 2 hours later I'm going, I never did actually practice the songs I wanted to practice. So,
well, it's good to know that you're doing new music or working on new music, and I give you an open invitation to come back on the Metal Meltdown to talk about your new music when that time happens.
Oh, that's awesome. We appreciate
Yeah, sure. Of course. And what about your day job? What do you do to pay the bills? You have like regular jobs besides the band, I would assume.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yep. I'll talk about it in vague terms. I work for the government. I work for local government in the Houston area, and I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, it's good enough. Thank you.
I'm the man. So
I understand. Thank you. We understand. And Brett, you like to say anything about that?
Yeah, I work for tribal government. I'm a software developer.
Okay, very cool.
And Chris is a student, so
he's a student. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's going to get his. He wants to be a rocket engineer. So he's working on
something like that.
And maybe he'll settle for being a rock star, right? Yeah.
You can only hope.
Right. Gentlemen, at this time, would you like to say anything to your fans out there that are tuning in?
I think it's been the live thing has really been a staple of what we've done in the past, and that has been great for us. And obviously that slowed way down with the pandemic and me moving to 1,200 miles away. But we want to make sure that people know that we're not done. We are still doing live shows. We are still going to write new music. The response to the new album has been great, and we want to keep moving forward and keep pumping out music that we love. So I don't know if Brett wants to add anything to that.
No, I think you said it well. I echo the same feeling.
Okay, great to have you here, guys. And I want to thank you again, Brett and Stone, for spending time with us on Metal Meltdown on Metal Messiah Radio tonight to learn more about Malo Dentro and talk about Follow Me, your latest offering, your brand new offering. And I just want to make sure before we go and crank up more music, if there's anything else that you'd like to talk about that we have yet to discuss, I want you to feel free to talk about anything that you want to.
I feel like I'm on the couch all of a sudden. Yes, my mother didn't love me, and
No.
All right, for the record, no, my mom was great. Don't really have anything else other, like I said, we want to keep doing what we love. We want to keep, at one of the other things I think when we thought the band was finished, it was one of those things where we had some moments where it just wasn't fun, and this has got to be fun for us. Obviously, we both have day jobs, and this doesn't pay the bills, so it's got to be fun for us. It has got to be a good release. For me, it can be therapy. Just to get together with these guys in a room, just fucking crank the amps and just get all that energy and evil of the week out. It keeps me. I tell people all the time, it keeps me from killing people, and being able to have that release is crucial, is vital, I think, for me at least. And again, once it stops being fun, once it stops being that release, then I'll hang up my guitar and my microphone for good. But that day has not yet come. I'm still loving what we do and enjoying my time on stage. And so, yeah, there you go.
That is most important. And I appreciate everything you said there. And I want to wish every one of you in Malo Dentro a great 2023. It looks like you're going to have a little time before going to your future shows because of the distance between Stone and the rest of the band, being that you're in Houston and they are in Phoenix. But I wish you great success, and hopefully you're happy doing what you're doing and you keep doing it. And we'll be here on Metal Meltdown to talk about it with every new release you have. You can count on that, and hopefully you have the success that you deserve. You sound like great guys, and you take pride in what you do, and I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight. And let's go crank up some more tunes off of Follow Me. Let's crank it up loud.
Thanks, Dave.